So I thought I'd make a video to show the inner workings of an oiler on an older MS460. There's plenty of videos on how to take the oiler out of the saw, so I'm not going to bore you with those details. But once you get the oiler out, I wanted to see how these things actually worked. There's a little cam inside of here that when you rotate this shaft actually rides back and forth. It's really hard to get a good image of it, but here you can kind of see it. So that thing is going back and forth. You can kind of see the oil coming out of that hole up on the upper left hand side. So the oil actually comes in through this guy and comes out through this guy. Now this is not the rescue saw, it's just the standard MS460. So when I put a 32-inch bar on here, it just didn't quite seem like it was getting enough oil. I had read a bunch of forums where guys are modifying the parts inside of here to get this thing to oil more, and some say that the home modification works fine, some say that it doesn't. So I thought that I would order the high volume bolt and high volume piston, if you will. So I'm going to try to find a place to set this camera and show you the difference. Alright, that'll work. So first, to get this guy apart, 1/8 inch center punch is just a little bit too big. So, but if you take a 1/16 of an inch punch, you can just catch the edge of the roll pin and drive it gently back on both sides, just going back and forth until it sticks out about this far. I chose not to take it all the way out because this might make putting it back in a little easier. And then the bolt comes out just with a little bit of a little tiny bit of persuasion here. Okay, there's your bolt. And then this brass bushing on the end. Give yourself a little pair of channel locks and just give them a little twist and pull. Whoop. It'll come right out like such. We're going to reuse the part, so we'll set the spring. We'll set the spring and this washer off to the side. Now I don't know if we need to make note of what side was aiming which direction, but I'm going to set the side against the gears down on the table. I guess if I was putting it back together the way it came, maybe that would matter because that surface is already machined or mated to this surface. Maybe a little bronze bushing. Okay, so let's examine these guys a little closer. So this is the high output piston. And this is the standard piston. So what I'm seeing right away is the depth of this channel is much greater than the depth of this channel. Let me see if I can zoom in on that for you. So now we can see that the depth of this channel is much greater than the depth of this channel. And I think this is what some of the folks were saying about matching these ramp angles with a Dremel is difficult to do. I guess in a pinch maybe you could do it, but you figure that surface is riding back and forth on, I believe it's this, I believe it's this surface right here. So if your Dremel machine job wasn't just right, it's going to cause a lot of premature wear on that surface right there. And that's really the only difference that I see between these two, is just that ramp angle right there. The length is the same. I don't think there's any difference in the cups on this side. This is the HO. This is the standard. I think those are the same. Let's see if we can turn them around, put them right next to each other. Yeah, those are the same. Yeah. Depth-wise, I don't know that I'll be able to get a good image of that, but I think they're the same. Okay, so now let's go on to the control bolts. Let's see if I can get these O-rings off of here while we're... I'll have to do that off camera. This is where I noticed the biggest difference on the control bolts. This is the high output version. This is the standard version. You can see that we have a much greater space here than over here. And that's probably machined to match that larger ramp angle here. It looks like we may also have a difference . May have a difference here. It's pretty tough to judge. Let's see. Maybe a little bit. I could grab a micrometer and measure that to know for sure, but again, I don't know that I would want to machine this with a Dremel. You may be able to cut some material away on that pin to make it match this, but I believe that everything's machined to work together. So just spend the $50 or whatever it is and get the high output pieces that are made to work together. And then reassembly will be just as disassembly in reverse. The side that I put down will go against there. Spring will go on here. This will drop inside of here, and I'll need to get a hook and remove these O-rings. Basically, the only thing that I noticed you want to watch out for here is when you're reassembling this, this piston will need to be pushed over while you insert your control bolt, because the very end of that needs to go in that section there. And if that's the spring's holding it out, it may just not let it go up all the way. So we just hold him over, let him come back, and then whammo. Oh yeah, it moves a lot further than the stock version. So that's about all I got for you guys. Just wanted to show you the inner workings of a MS460 oil pump, in case you're interested in converting it over to the high output version for a longer bar. Not too difficult. I'm sure you can do it with basic hand tools. All right, guys, have a great day.